Log into gyroscopemeet.com, the hottest online radio station in the world. GS Radio all day, all night, worldwide. Powered by Gyroscope Media Group, LLC.
GS Radio, the best internet radio station worldwide. Providing the best in music and talk shows. Go to www.gsradionj.com and check out the best internet station in the world. You're listening to GS Radio, internet radio station powered by GMG, LLC.
In the beginning there was Jack, and Jack had a groove. And after a while, a deep sleep fell upon him, and he went looking for a new groove. He began looking for a new nation, and it had to be a soulful nation. And he found it, and it was Soulful House Nation. And he saw a building. It was a tall building. It had 10 stories. And he entered the building and got on the elevator and pushed the 10th floor, but it stopped on the 8th floor. And that's where he found his new groove. And he began to jack and jack and jack and jack. And he knew that this was it. It was Soulful House Nation on the 8th floor. Get ready, get ready, get ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a quick let you know what's up today. First, we're going to do this recap. Actually, last week I was out of town. I had the good fortune of going down to Baltimore and DJing with DJ, well, you know I call him DJ Psychotic, and DJ Phantom of the Opera, Tommy Davis. And of course, Charlie Crest was there, DJ Dell was there. And so it was super exciting to come on up here and do this. So anyway, we're back. Our special guest today is Harry, the big dog. And then, of course, what we're going to play the hottest song according to Track Source in the Soulful House category. We're going to talk about what's coming up. We're going to play a classic, and then we're going to get into the conversation with Harry. Now, this is going to be a really good conversation because it's kind of from a little bit different perspective. And what I mean by, well, you're going to see what I mean by that. All right, so here we go. So, according to Track Source, the number one song is Digital Native, BDM, Pastor Jason Hendricks. It's Mirrorball Productions. It's called Goodness Praise Break, and as usual, we want to play a snippet of it because Facebook's nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out, and we certainly don't want that to happen. So, Chuck, would you play a little bit of that, and we're going to keep it going here.
Can do what he's done for me, he can do for you. There's nothing
House Nation. I'm coming to you live from the 8th floor. Hey, Joy, what's up? How you doing? All right. So listen, a lot of stuff going on in the Soulful House community. Want to just start off by telling you this weekend, September 29th, Mr. East is at it again. They're at it again. That's Antoine Qua and his whole team. And this week they're going to have DJ Beloved and DJ Truth Dad. So you know, I don't even have to tell you what that's going to be like. Then October 1st, you have Kemi Kareem. That's the DJ Prince Love and DJ Warren. The sound is DJ Rudy. DJ Rudy is one of my fellow KMTV brothers who's a dope DJ, but also he's doing the sound. So, hey, that's ought to be interesting. That's going to be in Fulton Park and Schenectady. That's sponsored by E&D Records. Then also on October 1st, Ace House Nation is going to do a jam fest in Commodore Park. It's going to be from 2 to 6. Then Talent Tuesdays. And, well, I'm going to tell you everybody on here, but then we have somebody that's really special to our hearts is going to be on that show. It's Kelly Spencer, DJ Span, Mike Freak, and Tommy Davis. Now, what they do every week on Tuesdays is they listen to new tracks, and that they, I don't know, maybe it will sign them, maybe they will do a deal with them or something, but I will tell you, it's a good look to get an endorsement. And also, too, they give some pointers on new tracks that are submitted to them. But here's what I really, really love. Our very own Shija, Shonda Trent, will be on that group or panel that evaluates those tracks. So, looking forward to that. October 4th, the 8th annual ball for Tony Voss, and that's in the Nina's in the Park. Antoine Quad's the DJ. And Tony Voss, as you know, is the mayor of Irvington, where we had quite a few events this year and last year, Peace Dance. Then also, Q Parker is going to perform from 112, so that's a big deal. October 14th, hey, I'm super excited, Appreciation Night for me. And, you know, that really caught me by surprise because I don't really do this to be acknowledged. I do this because I love it. And ultimately, I want to take our music to the mainstream. That's why I do that. And the fact that I'm going to give Mac Attack a big thank you and shout out for feeling that, hey, maybe there's some appreciation here. So thank you very much. I have a few tickets. Actually, I'm going to give away some tickets. So if you're interested, inbox me, Dan Shiver. You can inbox me. I have a few tickets while they last. I just got the tickets, so look for that. And that night, for the people who are going to come and don't get a ticket from me and pay, it's only $10. But watch this. Here's what you get. First of all, I'm going to DJ, which is Mac Attack's going to DJ, and Soulful Messiah is going to close it out. But wait a minute. There's more. Anaya Weathers is going to perform. That's right. Anaya Weathers. Actually, she's coming up from North Carolina to do this. But wait, there's more. They're going to have finger foods. And so we want you to get there early. It's from 5 to 10. And obviously, it's first come, first serve on the food. We're doing it that way. How about that? But wait a minute. There's more. Hey, it's a nice place. As Mac said in a live that we did, it's nice and clean. They have clean bathrooms and things of that nature. So that's always a good look. But wait, there's more. You too can have a great time that night. All right, so come and join us on October 14th. Get there early from 5 to 10. On my part, we're going to play a lot of great music. There's going to be dancing. I'm going to play a combination of new stuff and current stuff and some classics. And we're going to mix it up like that. So, hey, listen, watch this. Hey, we just had some birthdays. Shanette Nettie, just had a birthday, and she had a big celebration on Saturday. So just big shout out to her. And you know, too, one of the things that you should also realize about Nettie is, yeah, she is one who will tell you her actual opinion on the event. She'll tell you what she liked about it, but she'll also will say, hey, listen, here's some of the things that we need to address. For example, and I don't believe she's mean-spirited. If you meet her, she's not mean-spirited. But she would say, listen, you know what? Hey, we do need some more porta potties. You know, after all, there were a lot of people. And I think a lot of people have addressed that issue, and she's brought some real points to light that are really, really powerful. The other thing that I will say about her is that she promotes a lot of people. I just saw, if you want to know what's going on, there's three places you could check. Number one is you can check Nettie's page. She just posted like 60-something flyers or whatever the number was. So she's always pushing and promoting our community. So big shout out to Nettie. Another place you can find things, of course, is on Zacchaeus, New Jersey festivals and events. I think I got that right. But anyway, you can find her easy enough, a lot of things. But she just posted something, Nettie just posted something that's really, really big. And of course, you know, we share every week what we get, the information we get. So, birthdays, as I said, Nettie, happy birthday. George Sykes, happy birthday. George Sykes, of course, did some tracks with Quantize, and you know, so he's done some gospel house stuff, so that's very good. Gerald DJ G Burns has got a birthday, and of course Lenny Fontana. Lenny Fontana, as you know, does True House Stories. Also, too, what you might not know is that when I first started doing this thing with Soulful House Nation, Lenny was one of the first, was in that first group of people who gave me an interview. And I actually met him at the DJ convention down in Atlantic City. I'm going back, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago or something like that. So at some point, maybe we'll publish that interview. We did that, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago. So anyway, so those are people who have birthdays. Now, we've got some upcoming guests that are going to blow your mind. So I figured, well, you come back for that. Now, if you have any events that you like to promote, push, whatever, you know, feel free to tag me out. But it's really good if you hit Joy, J-O-I, Oliver. And then this way it's easier for us to keep track of them. All right, listen. We're going to play our old school song. And after that, we're gonna come back to you. We're going to bring up our special guest, Harry the Big Dog. Abdul Wasi Johnson. How are you, sir? Listen, thanks for joining us. Hey, folks, we got a lot of stuff coming for you. And then, of course, after we finish this, we're going to do the Shazam Free Zone. I'm going to lead off, too, with the Shazam Free Zone with a track that everybody's got to get in this community. It's by Jerome O. It's called Free Your Mind. Forget about it. Yeah. Anyway, you're going to hear it. We're going to close out this show and lead off the Shazam Free Zone. By the way, for you who don't know who the Shazam Free Zone is, every week we play all brand new cuts. And these are the cuts that at some point become the ones that you got to have at each party. But now here's the difference in the Shazam Free Zone. We not only play it, but we say it. We say, listen, this is what it is, and you can make a decision whether you like it or not. We just play them. I just bring the ones to you I think are probably the best of the best. Every week I get, I don't know, a lot of music, and I have to go through it, and I pick out the ones that I think are the best for us to hear, and then, of course, you can decide whether you like it or not. All right, last thing, I just want to give a big shout-out, a big acknowledgement to Chuck Roberts. Chuck Roberts, as you know, is the one who did In the Beginning, There Was Jack. But anyway, he did that drop for us in the beginning of the show, which you hear every week. Thank you so much. Also want to thank King T Finesse and Ariel Shante for putting the track together. So, Chuck, if you're ready, I'm ready. As usual, we're going to play a snippet because faced with this nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out, we're going to play a little bit and then we're going to come back with the big dog. Yeah. All right, Chuck. Here we go. folks, as you know, we faded out because a year and a half, 2 years from now, I'm going to get a message from Facebook saying that they're claiming they're claiming the song. Hey, listen. Hey, just so you know, right now we're not only on Facebook, we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we're on Vimeo, we're on Twitter, and of course we're on the website. So we're in a lot of places, and of course, on my page, and feel free to follow us. So our special guest is in the house, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Harry, the big dog. What's up?
What is going on? You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hey, thanks for joining us. Yeah. But before we get started, let me just give you a little bit of a background. What's up, sis? Thanks for stopping by. So here's a little bit of background. So at one point in my life, I was minding my own business. And this call comes in from our mutual friend, Rhonda. And Rhonda says, hey, I got somebody I'd like you to meet. I said, okay. All right. I'm a networker. I'm a free spirit. And I'm open to meeting people. And then this gentleman by the name of Harry, matter of fact, I even have it in my phone, Harry Interviewer. And I don't even have his name, his last, I just have Harry Interviewer. And so we got on the phone. I can remember exactly where I was. I was in front of my house. And I don't know how long we talked. Put it this way. Let's say if you went into an all-you-can-eat diner, they would put you out because we didn't mean all that. So that's how long we talked. And anyway, we connected, and we've been connected ever since. So with that, Harry, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Not a problem. Thank you for inviting me to your community.
Absolutely. Well, let's just so people can learn a little bit more about you. Just tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I was born a long time ago.
Once upon a time, huh?
Once upon a time. Well, I'm actually from the Bronx. From the Bronx, New York, for everybody who's out there. Shout out to Edenwald Projects.
Okay.
I joined the Army. I did 26 and a half years Army. I moved around. I was living in the Bronx. I was living in New Jersey. I was living in Virginia, different parts of Virginia, Northern Virginia and Alexandria and Dumfries, and then the Southern Virginia and Newport News.
Okay.
And now I'm in Illinois, but right now I'm in Virginia.
Okay.
You know what we did over the weekend, so
Yes.
I ended up staying out here.
Now, how did you get started with music?
Oh, I started DJing back in the late 70s.
Woo! Excuse me a second. Okay.
Yeah, I'm old. You just dated me.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
You know I'm old school. I got my Charleston Chew with me.
Okay.
I started back then. I had two mismatched turntables. I had a realistic mixer from, what was that, Radio Shack?
Radio Shack sounds like me. Go ahead.
Had a tube amp. Had some speakers we built.
Okay.
And, went from there. I got my first, I say I started in the late 70s, but my first actual paying gig was 81. So that's where I officially start my time when I got paid.
Got you.
And did it for about 20 years. And I retired in 2001 from DJing.
Okay.
And now getting ready to come back. I've been retired as long as I DJ'd before.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So now, what made you decide to DJ instead of just listen to music and or dance to it like most people do?
I wasn't a dancer.
So that was out.
So the only thing left is to DJ.
Okay. All right. Okay. So why don't you just listen? Because that's what most people do, even if they only have a two-step like me.
I did listen, but I wanted to listen to what I wanted to listen to.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Got you.
So in order for me to do that, I have to play my own music.
Okay. All right. All right. Hey, let's give a big shout out to Delmar Brown. Delmar, what's up? We had him on a while back and very, very insightful. And he does
Shout
some
out
posts.
Delmar.
Okay. Yes. Yes. He does some pretty interesting posts too. Very
Nice.
interesting perspectives. Yeah. Okay. Now, believe it or not, most of the DJs and most of the people that I know into house music didn't start in house music. They started in hip hop and R&B. Now, here's my question. From a DJ perspective, how did you get interested in house music?
It was to be truthful, it was easy to mix.
Okay. Okay.
Being in New York, we really didn't take house music like the rest of New Jersey. So when we got a hold of it, and this was in the late '80s, you talking about 87, 87-ish, more of the 89, 90 is where I started playing the music. I was mainly into disco, and disco's
Sure.
Is the daddy of house.
Right.
And got into it then. I still played other genres of music, but I did take a segment and played house music. And I still like the old school, Joyce Sims, Robin S., all the classics.
Okay. All right. All right. Now, just so you know, folks, we are on multiple platforms now, so you can get us in multiple ways, and also we're going to be expanding it. So now, okay, so this house thing is going, because you really knew about it from the beginning, but
Yeah.
at the same time, you were more focused, let's say, in other genres, and
Right.
you would mix in different sets. But as a person really who's been in this from the door, where do you see this thing going, especially now that you've taken a more prominent position with this thing?
I see us, I'm sure we're going to get into what we did over the weekend in Baltimore. But, I see it just getting bigger. I started watching, a couple of other DJs. I heard you over the weekend play with DJ Exotic. Shout out to DJ Exotic, Charlie Crush, Tommy Davis. Shout out to all of them for my newly found friends, Jeffrey C.
Yes.
And I was filming, and I seen some of the dancers and what they felt when they heard the music. And it didn't matter what song. It's just a feeling that you don't get too much of from other music. So I see this getting bigger and bigger, expanding to more states on a wider scale, not still underground, on a wider scale.
Right. Well, what's interesting, you mentioned two things, that the whole house music thing, like toward the early 70s, early 80s, as disco was starting to wane, at least publicly, then, these cats were making this sounds in the club. Beginning, we call it club music. And then also, too, when they started making the drum machines, and forget about it. And then now, and people could could sit in their house, their basement, their living room with their buddies and make tracks, all of a sudden the world changed. Now I'm going somewhere with this. Just hear this out, all right? You know, I'll bet you back then there were people who said, "Oh, that's not music. Oh, that's cheating. Oh, this that. Oh,
It's not
now
gonna
everybody."
last.
But watch.
It's not gonna last.
It's not gonna last. Yeah, but now watch this. Okay, in 2023, and I can go back further. Now they come up with software, DAWs, software that you can make music with, and now everybody say, "Oh, everybody's producer." Okay, everybody's producer. Well, everybody except me. I still haven't figured out how to work that software, but that's another story. So, just like when they came out with controllers, a lot of people said that's not real DJing. A lot of people are I wouldn't say violently opposed, but they just felt that was kind of I don't know if they felt it was a cheap way out. It wasn't real, whatever. But the bottom line is now, especially with all the ability. As a matter of fact, even DJ programs, you can remix on the spot. So I in my mind, we're going to see a lot more stuff happening. What are your thoughts on the fact that now, let's say you can get on your computer, Mac. I know that would make your skin curl. Mac.
Oh.
Mac.
You're
Mac.
making me itch.
And Mac will come with GarageBand, which is free. And certainly
Yeah.
you're not going to do some of the complicated stuff, but but certainly you can do a lot of things that you couldn't do before.
Yeah.
So my question is, how do you feel about these advances in software? How do you feel about the impact that we'll have? How do you feel about, is it real producing and things of that nature? So what are your thoughts on this?
So let me take it back a little to back in the day. You had the TR-808, the Roller 808. You had the MPC 60 before the 2000 and the studio came out. I keep up with my tech, even though I'm not a producer.
Okay.
When one of the reasons why I stopped DJing in 2001 is because Serato and everything, digital stuff was coming into play. They was really slacking on making vinyl, which I'm a vinyl head. If you see my basement, you would know why.
Right.
So all the new digital stuff, the digital era was coming in. First, you had the CDJs, which was just DJing on the CDs. It wasn't what we have now, but it was the start of it. Then you had Serato, you had Tractor, you had what's the other
Virtual
software?
DJ.
Virtual DJ coming into play. And a lot of DJs took to Serato on a Mac.
Because that was better, but go ahead.
And then, along the lines came the controllers. I bought a controller. It was a M Audio Exponent back in the day, and I hated on it. I was one of them real digital haters, and it's because of where I came from. The physical form of music. You had to buy doubles, not press a button for instant doubles.
Gotcha.
So the controllers came in, and like I said, I hated on it. But then I took myself and my personal feelings out of the equation and started listening and listening and listening. And what you said a few minutes ago about you can actually remix a song on the fly,
Right.
and I thought that was so dope. Then my perspective started to change. I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad. So about not last year, about a year ago, we end up buying the Denon DJ SC6000 setup.
Excuse me. Go ahead.
A person that hated on the digital, but these things are so amazing and they could do so much
Right.
more than what vinyl could do.
Right.
The DJs that played on vinyl and did their tricks and everything was dope. But with this, it just takes it to another level. So
Right.
I embraced it, and a lot of other DJs that are, my age, our age, if it wasn't for this digital, we would not be DJing, or y'all would not be DJing, because I'm not out of retirement totally yet.
Okay.
Because carrying records is heavy.
Forget about it. Unless we have some type of I don't know, special occasion. Forget about it. I'm done with records. Carrying physical records.
A DJ carrying record service.
Please. Please. I'm done with that. I mean, I have literally thousands and thousands. Of course, I started with vinyl. I have thousands of 12 inches albums, 45s, and I got thousands, literally thousands of them. And that's even after I had a fire and lost quite a bit of music. But but I want to just come up, address some of the things in the room here. DJ Bilal, what's up? Okay.
DJ Bilal, what's going on?
Dope. He's got a dope controller. Oh my goodness. I never saw it before until I think it was August 26th, whatever that date was. I got a chance to play on it. Forget about it. Delmar says Final Scratch was first, then Track to Pro before Serato.
Yeah,
okay,
that's right.
Yeah.
Scratch Live.
Yeah, so for the folks who are not into the equipment, let's say if you're a dancer or a listener, I've never had a client, a dancer, or listener say, "Ooh, you're playing on a controller, not CDJs." But let me tell you why all this conversation matters, because you're going to see where we're going with this in a minute. But one of the key things is your ability to create excitement when that person is playing, and sometimes you scream. You don't know because that person just hit an effect that drives you crazy. That person just took that song that you were dancing to. You said, "Boy, it sounds a little different," but oh my goodness, this thing is hot. So these are some of the things that, as a dancer or a listener, you experience, and that's because of the new technology. Now you got people out there that are like, well, listen, I don't believe in the technology. You have people out there who say, well, I only go this far with the technology. One last little point, too, is that with the technology change, the competition is a lot stiffer. Now, a lot of people say, well, now everybody's a DJ. Well, not really. But in the meantime, you gotta, it's like you totally gotta step your game up. Whether it's competing with the number of DJs, whether it's competing with DJs who are willing to take a lot less money because of their setup. But the other part of it is, to get the CDJs, you're talking the CDJs, and now they got the A9 mixer, the 3000 there. You're looking at anywhere from $8 to $10,000, depending on how you do it, whether you have carrying cases, coffins, and accessories. Now, the question is this. Do you say, hey, wait a minute, I got to wait till I get to put together $8-10,000 to be able to play, or did I take my $200 and go out find a new or used controller? At least I can
you can get a controller for about $99. It's about this big, but you can still play.
You can play at it, right? Or even you can play on your phone. Let's keep it real.
Man.
I've done weddings where I needed to have certain songs, and I needed to be in another room, I ran it Bluetooth. I ran it right from my phone. I mean, so again, the technology. Again, the reason we're bringing this up, and we're going to get to the main stuff in a little bit, is because of how this affects you as a dancer, as a DJ, as a listener. I mean, it just gives you so much,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, okay. So listen, let's move on. All right. So, and folks, the reason I wanted Harry to come on is because Harry's doing some amazing things, and we got into a conversation about house music, and Harry is okay. I'm okay. Watch this. A documentarian. How about that? That means you're from Documenta. Anyway.
I've been to that state already.
And when we got the conversation going, he was doing stuff with vinyl. He's doing stuff in the hip hop world and things of that nature. So we had this conversation about house, which Harry is loving more and more and more, getting into it. And so we had this conversation. So what I want to do, I want to leave it there, and to what extent we can, I want to talk about what you're comfortable revealing. But first, name some of the DJs that came to your attention in the house music community, and is there anyone you would like to meet?
All of them.
Okay. Next question.
Well, I do have some plans. For,
Okay.
I know people don't know on here, but I actually have a show where I interview DJs called the DJ Interview. That's my cheap plug. And that's how I met DJ Dan Dan, and have a few already lined up. But I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay. All right.
But
Now-
definitely DJ Exotic.
Right.
Definitely him.
Right.
I want to get him.
Okay. All right.
I already met him, but I want to get him on to talk about the whole career.
Okay. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And DJ Dell, what's up? DJ Dell was in the house.
DJ Dell.
Yes.
What's going on?
He was in the house that night.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. He was in he opened up. And I got to tell you, the sign of a real pro is you're not on your own equipment. You don't have your hard drive with you, and you still rock out. Now you always notice the difference because you prefer to play on your own stuff and this and that.
Yes.
But
you have it
again,
set up.
the sign of a pro, and I got to give that big shout out to Dell. By the way, he's going to be here in October. Hey, DJ Dell, can you put the date you're going to be on the Dial House and put that in the chat here? But again, you show up. You may not even intended to play, but you show up. You find out you're playing. You're playing on equipment that you maybe never had before, and you're figuring it out as you go along. And then on top of that, you don't know if your own hard drive with your own music, your own setups, whatever. And then you go in there and you still rock, and the public doesn't know that. Ooh, boy, he's sweating bullets in the back. But anyway, so big shout out to DJ Dell. All right.
Was he there when I was there?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The tall guy.
Yes.
Yes, I do remember. What up, DJ Dell?
Yes.
I want to get him on too.
Yes.
I want to get him on too.
Yes.
I couldn't remember the name. There's a lot going on.
Okay. So now, let's get into it. Let's talk about a project that you're working on and share whatever you can share. I'm following your lead on this.
Why I'm here. And this is, I'm going to put this back on you. You can reveal as much as you want. But, DJ Dan was telling you guys about the conversation we had a while back. Well, I don't know who called who, but I was like, yo, why don't we make a documentary of this whole soulful house music thing. And he didn't understand. So I'm like, I'm convincing him. I'm twisting his arm through the phone and everything. He was like, okay, all right. and then we've been talking since what? April.
Yeah.
April about doing this thing. We finally got some shots in over the weekend when we were in Baltimore. I came up from Illinois, not Chicago. Heard them say Illinois, people automatically think Chicago. I'm about 20 minutes right outside of St. Louis. But we are gonna take this thing and let people know what soulful house music is, where it came from, who are the players, who are the future players. And we're going to take this thing and provide it to the world.
Now, what's really good about it is that I'm a guy that knows how to go live. I know how to do a podcast, to some extent. But certainly, I'm not documentary level. I'm talking about in terms of the cameras, in terms of things that I should be doing, shouldn't be doing. And so I'm getting a lot of that direction from Harry, who's made documentaries, and also, too, has put them out. So this is going to be very powerful. But now, here's what's interesting. We were in Baltimore, and we got a chance to we sat down with Tommy Davis, DJ Exotic, and also DJ Jeffrey C. Now, these guys have been in that Baltimore scene from the door. And I was teasing, oh, yeah, well, what I got, but all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that we realized, you could take any scene and you could divide it up into multiple parts, just on the front end. And there's a whole bunch of other back parts you can divide it up into. But let's say, for example, you talk about Baltimore. Okay, so tell us about that scene. You can go back to the beginning. You can find out that there were some key players that made it happen, such as Wayne Davis. I mean, it's really, 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 really important person in that environment. Somebody else that's super important, although he's passed on, Richard Long sound systems. Those sound systems are still, or those designs, and there's still some of them in use today. And I think he passed away in the 80s or early 90s, somewhere about that. But his designs, and that was a real important part of the club, and why some clubs had appeal. That sound, Richard Long put the system there in Baltimore. He put the system in the garage. He had the system there. He had the system in the Cheetah Club, where I'm from Patterson. He had them there, plus a whole bunch of other places. But what we find is that there's enough material in one location, and then that you could really do a whole series around that location. Yeah,
for
right?
real. Yeah.
And that's not to mention the women who've been involved in house music, right along, who I mean, if we're honest, have not gotten the recognition that should have gotten, in my opinion. As a matter of fact, proof of it is how instrumental women are and were in the Baltimore scene, but in general, is that the weekend we were there was a lady, and I don't know her name, I never heard of her, but she was a local legend. And she passed away, unfortunately, and literally, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people came out to acknowledge her and to give her a great homegoing, including DJs. As a matter of fact, Jeffrey C. was one of 14 DJs that played in her honor. So again, there's so many aspects of it that, so many aspects of it that really came out of this one conversation and stuff we didn't even see going in. At least I didn't. But wait a minute. There's more scenes. There's New York. There's New Jersey. There's Atlanta. There's Chicago, Detroit. Charlotte,
Yeah.
Columbia, South Carolina, the stuff that's happening in Los Angeles, Houston, and I know I'm forgetting somewhere and someone, but please forgive us. I mean, you can create a whole series around it. So I want you to jump in, and from your perspective as a documentarian from Documenta, um, tell us what you see and what's important, like to be able to get our story out. What do you see?
Yeah. What I see now is to tell the stories. You touched on it a little bit about a minute ago. To tell the stories that people don't know. I know Tommy and Jeffrey was talking, and they were talking about things that probably a lot of people don't know. The like you said, the women there, depending on when you got into house music, you probably never even heard of these people, and they should get their flowers, as they say. You're talking about the different areas, your New Jersey. People know about Jersey, but what about those other places that house is hitting that nobody really talks about? We're going to get all of that information and put it out there so everybody can be acknowledged and have knowledge about where this thing came from, who were the players in the beginning to get it to where it was, and then and get it to where it is now, and the new players that's going to take it to another level in another 5-10 years. When a lot of you guys, a lot of us guys, we kind of get out of it. Yeah. I don't know if I'm be DJing.
Well, speak for yourself. My name is my real name is Young Dan, but go ahead.
Oh man, so yeah, I forgot you're 29.
26. 26.
26. I just aged you.
I know. Look at that.
But just to have it documented of everything that happened. I was watching a couple of documentaries, and I don't remember these people's names, but it was a guy out in Chicago. There was Larry Levan. There's a whole bunch of them, and yeah, you may have heard the name, but do you know how they got started in this and what led up? The struggles they had, being underground with this music. So, we're gonna tell all that we can with the time we have to tell it.
Right. Hey, Delmar brought in, he said that, okay, Richard Long passed away in 1986. And again, his influence is still here in terms of there's people that actually have bought parts of their sound system. In addition to that, there's people who have designed their sound systems based on that technology. So, wow. Okay. So now, watch this. When you did this, we did this interview, which we haven't released yet, with DJs and actually producers, Exotic, Tommy Davis, and Jeffrey C. Tell us about that. If there's and maybe what is the most powerful thing, or the thing that stuck out in your mind the most after watching this conversation? Is there anything that really you say, wow, okay?
To me, the whole thing was very powerful because I had no idea. Although I play house music, I'm not into the culture like you guys are. From I was there at the beginning, but like I said, I still played different genres, and then kind of retired. So I've been out the scene for a little bit, but to hear the stories of what Tommy was saying about Quantize and all the people that were on there. I never even heard of the label.
Right.
And maybe some of the listeners here maybe never heard of that. They know songs, but do they know about Tommy and how he started his label? Why house music when he used to work in the record store? I don't even know if a lot of people know that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's just telling these stories that a lot of people don't know and getting them documented while everybody is still here.
Right. That's a
That's
plus.
the important thing. You know, when I interview these DJs and everybody who I interview, you know, tell your story before somebody else tells your story.
Right. Yeah, that's powerful because um, like I say, there's so many things behind the scenes, and we're looking to get into that. Like we did the interview with Tommy, but the Tommy and Tommy actually was a DJ Spen and Tommy are the ones who put quantized and unquantized together.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a, like you could do 10 different interviews just for Baltimore,
Yeah.
getting all the different aspects of it. So
Because we were only there with 3 people.
right,
And how many more is there? I know Charlie Crush is there. He has stories.
right, right, and then Spen, and then when we get a hold of Wayne Davis, etc.
DJ Dell was there.
DJ Dell,
I know
right.
he has stories.
Right. So yeah, so that's some of the stuff that's here. You also do an internet radio show as well as you also do some stuff with iHeartRadio. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, we actually have 3 stations, and if you go on my page on Facebook, look for me, it's Harry the Big Dog, and you'll see me with my afro. You'll see me like that.
DJ Don King, go ahead.
Yeah. And just over the last couple of days, where one of our stations we hit like 103,000 listeners. And that's just one of them. We have 3. We have Free Agent Radio, Free Agent Soul, Broadcast Hip Hop Network. Now the Broadcast Hip Hop Network plays all the newer music, and it's more the R&B stuff. The Free Agent Radio is from the late 90s or the mid 90s to the early 2000s music. Free Agent Soul is our old school station. We don't play nothing past 1989. And my segment there is the whole disco and dance thing, which leads into house music. I'm gonna convince you and twist your arm again to give me a couple of shows.
Okay. Absolutely. Wow, absolutely. Well, for me, I see this thing going, growing, and flowing. I find that most people have never really heard of house music. There's a lot of people who have, obviously, but I find a lot of people don't know what house music is. And then, too, house music has so many different descendants.
Yeah.
Like our sound started back really in the 80s, but you could really trace that back to the 70s if you listen. And again, we call it club music, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you can trace that music back in terms of what they did and how they made the sounds back, the 4 on the floor, all that kind of stuff like that. But and all of the stuff like the tech house, techno, EDM, trance. We can even they have so many different I'm gonna say subgenres. You could even
Subgenres, yeah.
yeah. You could even, if you want, you can even come up with a name. I don't know what we call it. Harry the Big Dog.
House.
Yeah. How about this one? How about Penthouse?
Kitchen music.
Yeah. But you know,
Kitchen house.
yeah. I'm going with Penthouse. Anyway, but if you think about it, that music or that beats, etc., has its roots in our house music, which I call the original house music. Which, you know, I mean, they were making different styles, and I guess they had to come up with a name that identified in the marketplace, so it became soulful. And I think put it this way, the three types of house that we usually listen to in our community, depending on the audience, you can go one way or the other more, but it's mostly soulful, Afro, and gospel in this area, gospel house. Now, there's offshoots of that. There might be a tech house song here or there that, you know, people will feel. Or there might be a Jack and House track, or I mean, there's all the things are there. But most of that music has its roots in our soulful house sound. I mean, I mean, have you seen that as a person coming into it?
The way I seen it before, it was a spinoff of disco, like you said earlier, when disco kind of died down publicly. Disco never went away.
Right.
It just got out of the public's eye for a minute. And what do you call it? Dance music was born.
Right.
And house music was born.
Okay.
Now, I was watching a documentary, and the term house music, I if I'm remembering correctly, started in Chicago somewhere.
Yes.
And it was because they played somewhere in somebody's house, and to kind of shorten the word, that wherever they were, they used to ask for that house music.
Okay, so let me remix that story for you.
Yeah, okay.
Remix. Okay. Well, it's largely stated that the music started in Chicago, and there's some back and forth about that, but we won't focus on that. But there was a place called the Warehouse where Frankie Knuckles played.
Yes.
And Frankie Knuckles played in this place called. So people would say, well, listen, I want to go. That's the major story. Of course, there's always other, alternative stories, but I'm telling you the one that's most popular. And so after a while, they only hear warehouse music, and then after a while, as people do, they shorten it, and it became house music. They just got rid of the warehouse. Now, but watch this. I used to be embarrassed to say this, but I'm not anymore. It's like, you know what? So I used to think house music was music that you played in the house.
No, that's a house party. Before the movie.
In the beginning. And I was like, okay. And
that's your old school rip parties.
Oh, the social. Oh my goodness. Well, anyway. And you know, as a 26-year-old, I only know about this from research. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. You're not old enough.
That's right. That's beyond me. Yeah, for me, what I've seen over the years is this thing is growing. You can see it in the house music events. You can see it in the outdoor events. You can see the size of the audiences growing in this thing. The next, for me, in terms of our ecosystem, our next big thing is to be able to attract sponsors. I mean, people who see the value in this audience. Because we're spending money with them already, but in my mind, you haven't seen the value. And I know, for those of you who've heard me say this before, act like it's the first time you ever heard me, okay? Listen, if you look at the ecosystem, look at the ecosystem. Hey, we're spending money like crazy.
Wait, before you make that statement, what do you think the average age of are you guys considered house heads?
Okay, so it depends on where you are, but in New Jersey, what I've seen from my informal survey, my unofficial service, the average age is 52 years old. Average
Okay.
age, average income is in the mid 50s, 56, 57,000 a year. Now I know you can't live on that kind of money, but I mean, I'm just saying, but if you put that together and you
Spend that
have
in a weekend.
for tips, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Anyway, but if you put that together, let's say you have a household, you have two people, partners, husband, wife, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're in six-figure income. But wait a minute, most of us drove there. I hardly ever see, man. You don't see any car companies or car dealers. Hey, many of us or many of the people there have auto loans, leases. I never see them there. All right. Okay. Think about this for a minute. Whether your car's paid off or not, you got to have insurance. I never see any auto insurance people there. Many people travel to these events, and as a result of traveling to these events, they need transportation. You never see any rental car people there. You never see any Uber, Lyft, or any type like that. Hey, think about
Lodging.
this. Huh?
Lodging.
Hey, hotels. Right. You never see, hey, listen, I mean, so I had a conversation, which we haven't released the interview with Donald Shaw, mayor of Roselle. And I have this series called Mayors That Play House. And he began to talk about the economic impact of our audience coming to a place. And he talked about the economic impact of it coming to Roselle, bringing house music and house heads. So the local stores make money. People who need services make money. So I think our next big thing that we got to really be looking at is leveraging our economics. I think that's a big thing. Watch this. Let's be honest. Okay, hey, real estate. We're buying and selling real estate. I know because I'm in the real estate business, all right? So that means mortgages. That means... okay, wait. It gets better. Okay, hey, let's be honest. Not you, but hey, wait a minute. If you're 50 plus, you probably got letter, email, or something, or some type of notice from AARP. I mean, that's their audience. That's their audience. Okay, but now, you said average, but again, it changes. If you go to New York, like here in Jersey, it's mostly black and brown people. But if you go to New York, it's all mixed up. It's all kind of mixed. And I say in many situations, and again, I haven't done a formal survey, but it might be younger. But then watch this. Go to Europe.
Yep.
and it's a whole different audience, and it's mostly
whole different audience.
Yeah. So that's how universal it is. But so to give you a straight answer, I would have to say you have to look at the location, and then you can kind of assess it. It's just a semi-study point of view from my
Yeah. You know what I think it is? I think they're not educated enough to know there's an audience that uses their service out there. So one of the things that is probably going to happen, I don't know if it's going to be us, but there needs to be some talks with some of the people in their marketing area about what this thing, when you go out and there's 3,000, 5,000 people in an arena, all of the same age range. I'm 75 years old, and I think I'm looking pretty decent for that. I still got all my real hair.
But that leg, that other leg.
Yeah, the wooden leg and the real foot. Well, I think that's what the issue is, because they really don't know. 50 years later, so-called 50 years later, I think it's more with the hip hop, more or less, depending on who you ask. They're just really kind of getting hip hop in certain places. It's just a regular genre. I know when I was down in New York a couple of weeks ago in August of 2023, for everybody who's listening in the future, they had a 3-day event in Times Square
Okay.
where they had, the tournaments of the graffiti artists, the dancers, the MCs, the DJs, and I got to film the last day. It started Sunday, Monday, and I got to film Tuesday, the whole finale thing. And that was, from what I heard, one of the first times that area allowed hip hop in it. But they'll take, the house genre and will accept it because of the style of music it is. It's warm. It's a lot of feeling. Hip hop, you just don't know.
Wow.
It could be a lot of cursing. It could be a lot of derogatory remarks. So,
Yeah.
but it was a time, and I think these people need to understand what this is and where it is, where it is and where it's going, because AARP, how many more memberships can they
Right.
get?
This is their audience.
A hotel chain
Right.
that comes and supports a Hilton, a Hyatt, a something. We're all older. That motel for $35 just don't fit no more. That was back in the day when you just needed a place to sleep because you ain't had nobody.
Bed
But
bugs
now
included, but go ahead.
Yeah. It might be other people in there with you. But, we all stepped up our game.
Right.
Some people don't like to drive, so the airlines.
Right.
Some people like staying at a certain hotel because they got points and they get points for this.
Right.
It helps the businesses around that area.
Right.
Like you were talking about in Roselle. I know, and I think you're talking about that big park.
Warrenenko
In-
and then
in-
yeah, it was Warrenenko, but they were doing Friday night events, and that was in the middle of the town. And go ahead,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And it helps all of those businesses over there. I know I don't remember the name of that diner on the corner across the street from that big park, but they've been crowded as long as those places and those events happen. And it's an economic boost in their area. So
Right.
I think it's just a little more education and reaching out to some of these people. I think me and you may be able to get on that mission and start reaching out.
Right. One other little point as we come in for a soft landing here. Just along those lines, if you go to Orlando, that's a destination. And in addition to that, there's a whole industry, tourist industry built up around that. Like when you go to Warrenenko Park, I don't know, they said there were like 15, 20, whatever the number was. But there were a lot of people there. Weequahic Park, thousands of people came out, online and offline. There's, and to, again, to acknowledge that this has an economic impact, maybe there's a tourist aspect to be explored on it. But we definitely have an impact. And, as it's going to be interesting to see what we see next year. So it's going to be very, very powerful, I believe. But hey, we're coming in. We got to come in. We got to do we're going to do a soft landing here. Okay, what can we expect from you going forward? What are we? Any projects, DJ spots, events? What are we going to be doing with the house music thing? Anything that we can expect going forward that you can share? Put it that way.
Well, some of it I'm not going to share, but expect a couple of more projects in the music industry because I want to document the music industry. Excuse me, guys. I want to document and make sure they get their flowers. They get their notoriety of where they came from,
Right.
who they are. I do have a couple of projects coming up. They're nothing I could talk about just right yet. I have, when I finally get back home, I got about 15 DJ interviews that has to get set up before I take another hiatus at the end of the year.
Okay.
My last interview was in August, and this is already getting ready to be October.
Right. All right. I just want to read one last comment, and then after I read that comment, I'd like if people want to follow you, support you, keep up with you, just find out how to do it. Anyway, Delmar says globally, the average audience in Europe are in the mid-30s and up. New Yorkers, depending on where you live, in the 5 boroughs and are from late 30s and up on some dance electronics level. So just the point. So, but either way, the house music community creates a demographic, and that demographic should be offered services and or sponsorships. We have a big enough presence to start that. Remember, everything that goes, I'm going to say overground or mainstream, starts underground. Whether it was hip hop, whether it's R&B, whether it's country, whether it's rock and roll, whether
Disco.
it all starts underground, and some way, somehow, combination of people, combination of circumstances, et cetera, economics, it was able to go mainstream. And I believe we have all ingredients to make this thing go mainstream. That's my thoughts.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt, definitely.
Yeah. Any final thoughts? Anything? If people want to support you, follow you, keep up with you, how do they do it?
If you want to follow me on Facebook, I stated this earlier, at Harry the Big Dog, and you'll see me. On Instagram, at the DJ Interview, and you'll find me there. I don't frequent it. I'm more of a Facebook and YouTube person. And for the DJs out there who are ready to tell their story, I'm looking for the old school DJs that been there from the beginning to interview. You know, reach out to me on my Facebook Messenger, and let's get an interview set up, because people need to hear your story.
Gotcha. Well, Harry, we'll be talking more offline. Hey, listen, thank you for coming out and hanging out, and let's open this thing up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Dan, SOULFUL House Nation, I'm coming to you live from the 8th floor. Hey, we're getting ready to go into the Shazam Free Zone. We're going to play all new music, some combination. I don't know, I get 100, 150, I get hundreds of tracks every month, and part of my job is to kind of go through it and see what I think are the best, and I'm going to play those. And so but now we're going into Shazam Free Zone, but not only do we say the name of the track, do we play the track, but we say it. We play and say it. So we're going to start off with this track. Some of you may have heard me play it on other shows, and on this Friday I'll be on KMTV from 4 to 6. Check me out there. We're going to start off with Jerome O, Free Your Mind. And then we're going to go into it. We're going to finish it up at 3 o'clock. Harry, thank you so much. All right? The big dog.
You.
All right. So, Chuck, let's lead off the Shazam Free Zone with the track called Free Your Mind. It's by Jerome O. And you're going to hear a voice in there that you recognize too. And we're going to run it, and we're going to run this Shazam Free Zone till they shut us off. The nice thing about this is that the music that we're playing is typically not on majors and is not the algorithm doesn't pick it up, then we can play it through. Chuck, are you ready? And the answer is yes. Chuck, get ready, get ready, get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Dan, Soul Oscillation coming to you live from the 8th floor. We're getting ready to go into the Shazam free zone and finish this out. Harry, thank you so much. You're welcome to hang out or whatever you want to do.